Hi guys, my name is Dylan and today let's talk about the 5 main things that I'll be looking at in an own stay house. Actually, a lot of people are doing or asking how to buy an investment house, how to buy a good rental house. But then I was thinking, right, why is no one actually doing a guideline of how to buy a correct on stay house? So, an own stay house, a lot of people will be doing because as long as I'm happy with it, I can buy. As long as I have money, I'm satisfied with the location, I can buy. But then the fact that people are actually youngsters nowadays, they are trying to speed up their own stay purchasing or their dream house purchasing, right? It means that actually they didn't foresee that maybe their first home they're buying their dream house. But then if the second or third home, they might want to upgrade. Then suddenly your first home that you just bought, it will become a burden for them. So if, for example, if you are buying in a location that is really very secluded but then very serene, then if you were to sell it in the future, for example, for your second house, your down payment or whatsoever, right, it will definitely be a challenge because your rental rates in those areas will not be that high. That's one thing. Second thing, because the location is far away from city center, your only target client will be those who wants to buy or treat that location as a dream house, dream area. Yeah. So for me, I always like to go for a safer pick where I would like to buy an own stay house, but then the location must have some investment value in it. So these are the 5 main things that I'll be looking at. And normally these 5 main points, right, I'll be saying in my walk series, but then today I'll be elaborating them on why I choose these 5 main points. So the first main point will definitely be connectivity. So the reason why I choose connectivity is because today, just imagine, right, your house, your dream house or whatsoever, your own stay house, right, it's surrounded by multiple highways or nearby, maybe a 5 minutes or 10 minutes drive away from a particular highway. For example, for maybe let's say Bukit Jalil. So Bukit Jalil is actually surrounded by a few highways, for example, Kesas Highway, Max Highway, and North-South Highway. So these are the highways that connects people to job opportunities location. So even if I were to buy a landed or a high-end condo or whatsoever in Bukit Jalil, I know for sure that if I were to upgrade next time, I can rent out the house for a better value. Second thing is the demand will be more because most of them maybe they'll rent it for temporarily for 1 or 2 years while waiting for the new condo to be completed, or they will just choose it as their own stay house, their dream house, their retirement home. So connectivity is very important. It's as long as it's in a center, then it shouldn't be much problem. So the second element that normally I'll be looking at will be commercial or shopping mall element. Basically, are there any businesses besides your residential property? Okay, why I'm saying this is because today, just imagine that your whole area it's purely for residential purposes. So from an own stay buyer standpoint, right, it's very good because I get perfect serenity, I get perfect privacy. But then if you were to sell, right, the same problem happens. If you were to sell, right, you can only sell to people who appreciates things like this. But then, for example, if I were to stay somewhere near maybe say Mid Valley, okay, maybe I'm just 2 minutes or 5 minutes drive away from Mid Valley. Just imagine, right, if you can rent out for to people who are working over there, room by room. Okay, you can rent out to families who are working there. You can rent out to maybe people who are planning to retire around this area that prefer more bustling city life or they prefer the convenience to travel to the mall. So I always look at commercial elements because it's a very flexible pick where I get my convenience by driving or walking there, but at the same time, there is a certain distance from my condo or my landed area from that particular commercial element. So this is something that normally I'll be looking at. And of course, if there is a successful shopping mall nearby, definitely it will be increasing your property value as well because just imagine, if, for example, no one knows Old Klang Road. But then I say Mid Valley, then they'll say, oh yeah, oh Mid Valley is it's around Old Klang Road area. So this is normally how shopping mall becomes a landmark for a lot of addresses. Okay, then the third point that I'll be looking at will be office components. So then these office components, it will be a rather vague one because it can be the fourth or fifth thing that normally I'll be looking at. But then the reason why I put at the third point is today we are at the younger age. For those who are watching, right, if this is your first own stay house and you're maybe in your 20s or 30s, right? Then office is very important for renting out as well. For example, if I am buying a place, for example, let's just say Bukit Jalil, right? It's so hot now recently. So, for example, if I'm buying Bukit Jalil as my own stay house, but then 10 years down the road, if I were to sell it or rent it, Bukit Jalil is very near Subang. It's very near KL city center because I can just take Max Highway. I can reach TRX area, and it's very near Mid Valley or Bangsa South as well. So some of those people who are planning to rent or buy Bukit Jalil is because it gives people the greenery feeling. At the same time, it's not too far away from office components. So this is normally how I'll be looking at. Inside Bukit Jalil, in our first Walk episode, we already noticed that in Bukit Jalil there are few office elements over there, and then in Technology Park as well. So I think overall, right, it's something to look at, but then it's not a must to have it. And then the fourth main point that we have to look at in an own stay house, it's the pedestrian friendliness. So the first 3 points, connectivity, commercial elements, and even office components, right? These 3 points is mainly for your backup lah. In the sense that today, if I were to rent it or sell it, I have more target clients or more target tenants that I can aim, right? But then the fourth part, pedestrian friendliness, it's more catered to me. Like for example, nowadays people, there some of them that drive, some of them that don't drive. But the pedestrian friendliness from my condo to, let's say, the shop lot, or to, let's say, the shopping mall, or to MRT station is very important, because sadly Malaysia's safety, I would say the safetiness, right, on walking, right, is still quite backwards in a sense lah. So we have to take care of our safety. That's the most important thing. So if there is a proper pedestrian walkway that separates me from cars or motorbikes, right, then it gives me an assurance that, oh, I'll be walking safely at least. All right. So a proper pedestrian walkway, of course, increases the whole value as well. Like in my Seri Petaling episode, I mentioned that, oh, this MRT station will bring value. But then if the condos or landed nearby, there is no designated walkway that connects me to the MRT station, right? And I'm still relying on feeder bus. So the value, the concept will be not so convenient in a sense, because I still have to wait for the bus rather than I can just walk. Yeah, so I think pedestrian friendliness to MRT station, commercials, and to your garden and everything, right? All the greenery things, it's very important. A proper one. Yeah, so that's one of the main things that personally I really like to focus on, because you're buying for your own pleasure, own leisure as well. And then the last point that I'll be looking at will be greeneries. Okay, so the reason why that's my biasness lah, to be honest. Some of them, they don't like looking at greeneries. They feel that it's very, when it's nighttime, it's very dark. But then personally, after working in KL for some time, and we are always facing, concrete jungle, honking sound, traffic jams and everything, right? It's really just good when you reach home, you can just face greenery, face the golf course, face a forest reserve or whatever. Because it gives, mentally, it definitely helps us to relax, to wind down. But then it's very rare. One thing from an investment value, right? It's very rare to find condos where you look outside, you can directly see a forest reserve, greeneries, a park, a garden, or anything that relaxes your mind, rather than just concrete jungle. So it's very rare. So when we talk about become capitalist again, when we talk about scarcity, right? When my view is facing a hilly road or a mountain or bukit or any park or whatsoever, right? Suddenly it becomes a selling point. So when it becomes a selling point, then if I were to sell or rent in the future, it's easier, because when agents will say, oh, your unit is facing a garden, compared to your unit is facing a highway, which one is easier to sell? Definitely the unit that's facing the greenery. So this actually shows that greenery is actually one of the very important thing that in an own stay house that you have to look at. Of course, these are the 5 main points as well that I talked in Walk, but normally I didn't elaborate that much lah. So I mean, all in all, this is actually just my personal opinion on buying an own stay house. But and I think it's more catered for youngsters in your 20s or your 30s. And if you don't believe in property, right, it's okay. But you just want to buy a house for an own stay, I would suggest looking at these 5 points because it's really important. Where we have seen a lot of cases, people buy their dream home in their early 20s or 30s, but then suddenly they think that, hey, my family size is getting bigger. Hey, I cannot fit this 1,000 square feet condo out. I need 4 rooms or 5 rooms. So suddenly your dream house then become a burden because you cannot rent out at the price that you're expecting. So in order to prevent this, planning is really very important. And I think that's all for this episode. It's a very quick one as well because there were some comments and emails saying that, hey, why are you looking at these 5 points only? So this is an elaboration on why these 5 points is very important. But if you do have any other points that you think that I should look at, do let me know in the comment section below. And do like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.